Early in the morning. I see Miss Laure Cagle. Oh, and Terry Denniston. We are honored. My goodness. My goodness. Yes. And Teresa McKinney. Oh, man, look at all these friendly faces signing in this morning. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is John Fries. As most of you know, I'm the director of the Center for Professional Education here at UTC. This workstation is a program that we've been doing for a couple of weeks now. It is our way of keeping you informed and engaged while you're working remotely. And today we are very, very excited to recognize and welcome two very great folks, both from our local campus and from the University of Tennessee system. Ms. Laure Pugh, who is the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Human Resources here at UTC, and Dr. Bryan Dickens, who is the Chief Human Resource Officer for the University of Tennessee system. And we were talking this morning. I'm going to share a little funny story with you. Laure is a graduate from Auburn University, which is where I worked prior to coming to UTC. And Dr. Dickens and I both graduated from Texas A&M with our graduate degrees. And I told them this morning it's just further proof that the University of Tennessee has the best hiring strategy possible, hiring these good folks from all these great institutions. So anyway, we're very happy to have them joining us this morning. We're going to talk about something that's really important, and it sort of resonated with me as this is something of something akin to sort of corporate social responsibility and employee engagement as we look at how organizations respond to the needs of its employees, right? We often hear talk about the employees are an organization's most valuable asset. And that's really true. None of the work that we do gets done without people that are dedicated and committed to the mission of the organization. And so when this opportunity came about, we thought this would be perfect timing to introduce this concept and have some folks that are really leaders in their profession, but also leaders at our organizations, talk about the importance of employee engagement. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Laure and let her get us kicked off this morning. Laure, Dr. Dickens, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To the UTC and the Chattanooga community. I'm so pleased to be joined to have this virtual discussion to be joined with Dr. Bryan Dickens. Dr. Dickens joined the UT System Administration staff in December of 2019, and we have been forever thankful for his leadership during these difficult times. He brings with him over 25 years of leadership experience, majority of that focused in higher education. And to have his guidance and expertise during these difficult times has been immeasurable. The Chattanooga community has been tasked with responding to multiple crises in a short amount of time. As we respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and moving the majority of our workforce into remote work opportunities, and then also the natural disasters that we experienced on April 12th that left a lot of our employees and community members with damage to their communities, damage to their homes, in some instances, total losses, and extended power outages. So it's important during this time more than ever to focus on the critical importance of engaging our workforce and engaging our employees. And so I'm pleased to be joined with Dr. Dickens this morning to talk about the best practices in employee engagement and what we might be able to put in this place to help us all be successful during this time. So Dr. Dickens, if you'd like to share some comments on the importance of employee engagement.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Laure, and John, for both of you for extending the invitation and also just for the hard work that you all are doing down in Chattanooga with this is really a good example of engagement activity for employees as well in terms of just this forum that you have with the PowerC series. So thank you again for this platform. You know, Laure, the thing about employee engagement, which I think is so critical and necessary during this unprecedented time in our nation, is really the ability to stay connected and engaged in a way that our employees understand that we are here as a support, as a resource, and as a vehicle by which they are getting the most up-to-date and reliable information that's available to them. You know, we were talking about this conversation And I think the really hard part about all of the work that we do from a human resource perspective is really thinking about the why of what we're really doing, right? And so when you think about engagement and when you think about engaging a workforce that is experiencing an ever-evolving pandemic, and then you layer on top of that the ability of a natural disaster to enter into the picture, right? It creates such a unique and unprecedented time. And I think employees in this period of time are really looking to know, that we're there. But at the end of the day, there's this one statement that always captures me when I think about what our workforce and our people are needing during this time. And Maya Angelou said it best when she said, people will never always remember what you say or what you do during times of crisis, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And from my perspective, when we think about engaging, when we think about how do we attend to the needs of our employees during this period, it's really more about them understanding with all of the resources that we have provided through our EAP, through our telehealth network, through our partners with Tennessee in terms of surveying and pulse and getting a check-in. It's really about us gathering as much information as we can in order to really affect positive change by providing them the tools and resources they need real time. And so engagement is not about satisfaction. Engagement is about employees feeling, I describe it as them contributing their discretionary effort, right? So we pay them for an 8 to 5 or whatever the hours are. But what we're really looking for is how do we make sure that our employees are engaged in such a way that they're willing to give us more than just what we pay them for, right? And so for HR professionals particularly, it's our responsibility to make sure that the environment and the way that we engage and the way that we interact and attend to the needs of our employees really speaks to how do they feel that we are doing as both a UT system as well as a campus within the system with so many different nuances. And so the trick is, how do we ensure a standard treatment for all employees in terms of engaging, but also attend to the unique needs of each area and or campus, institute, or center that we have. So engagement takes on so many different forms, but it's really, particularly during a pandemic in this time period, it's uncharted territory and we're all figuring out together. Point is, are we bringing our best selves to the table in the process? Hopefully that's helpful to you, Laure, in terms of conversation.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Dr. Dickens. And I think your comment about people remembering how they felt during difficult times is really spot on with the essence of employee engagement. Engagement really is about the emotional commitment that individuals have to their work, to their organization. And the things that we put in place during difficult times can certainly have an impact on those types of experiences for our employees. And I think from an administrative perspective, it can sometimes be easy to get caught up in the procedural nature of responding to a crisis. And that is all very, very important. But just as important, and probably beyond that, if you ask for my opinion, is to stop and focus on the people, the humanity, the individuals that we are serving. As we put those important procedures in place and respond to the situations as an organization, also making sure that we're providing those opportunities for our employees to seek information, to ask questions. And when we open up those avenues and we create opportunities, excuse me, that oftentimes helps us understand the needs of the employees, and we can further adjust and respond to make sure we're putting things in place that are very helpful. I will brag for a moment on the fantastic team that I have in human resources at UTC and the response in serving those that are in need. We've had some impromptu sessions developed for managers about how to manage during a difficult time. And the recommendation is don't stop managing, keep connecting, keep communicating, create additional avenues for people to share concerns, keep bringing the team together, but also understanding that you don't have to be an assigned member of leadership to impact employee engagement and to impact the morale of your team. You can be a team member that has those positive influences from within, and that is just as important.
Yeah. Laure, I think you hit on it the best when you talked about the mantra that, I've subscribed to for many years, and that's how do we ensure as human resource professionals that we are maintaining or keeping the humanity in the human resources process, right? So oftentimes we're viewed as the policy police, or the people who will say no, or the areas that are most likely to give you the parameters in which to work, which is a large part of what we do. But the other part of that is to really think about, how is what we're doing going to literally affect the people that we serve, right? And so, as I thought about entering into this pandemic, and we a good example is, as we talked about, well, what do we do in terms of pay? How are we managing pay? How are we going to make sure? And our stance was, we're all going through enough. We'll deal with what we need to when we get further down the line. But our immediate need right now is to make sure that we are doing everything we can to provide alternative work solutions whereby every employee does not miss a beat during this period of time. So we've asked managers across the system, we've asked supervisors across the system to be as lenient and to be as accommodating and to be as engaging, to Laure's point earlier, and communicative, in terms of, we need to make sure that we are connected, but our people understand that the UT system, all of our constituents are one family, and that one UT really rings true in terms of how we've attended and how we're staying the course with supporting our workforce during this time. So kudos to the teams across the system and to the UTC team, because you all are really stepping it up. And, again, you've got a double whammy, right, in terms of the other natural disaster that's also hit your community. And so we're wanting to really make sure that we're providing the necessary resources and connections with all of you. So that's really so important. Thank you for reminding us of the humanity in that, Laure. Any other thoughts around that from your perspective, Laure, in terms of just thinking about, what particularly has been important for UTC during this time?
Yeah, I think, we could go on and on about that. There's so many lessons learned and points. I think something that's been fantastic is seeing the response from our own campus leadership. The campus-wide Q&A sessions that have been held with our chancellor and the executive leadership team, that gives us a great opportunity to understand what's on the mind of employees, to understand concerns, and then respond to that. Also providing employees with resources. And if you're not sure what resources are available, reach out to those who can help you. Contact your Office of Human Resources and any other entity on campus that can be of assistance. We've been trying to redistribute resources to employees from our Employee Assistance Program, our EAP program, which is specific to UTC. Other organizations have similar access and resources for mental health, managing stress, managing anxiety, because those things are so important right now. But then also sharing our community resources. We are part of the larger community. There are a lot of resources that are available to individuals that they can participate in, and making sure that your employees understand those and then they can have access to them. I see a question here in the chat. It says, we have staff members who still are without still don't have internet service, but serve in crucial roles within the office. How do you suggest we balance the need to get the job done and being compassionate and empathetic of their problems? So I imagine that being without internet service is likely due to the storms on April 12th, but we've had storm systems come through since April 12th. It's not something that just occurred once. We've had power outages in the weeks following that. That's a great question, Kim. I think it is truly about balancing the need to have work done and then also responding and providing assistance to employees. We do have, and I don't know, because I'm not a technical person as much as I would like to be, we do have resources through our IT And that's
Yeah.
another avenue that you can request assistance. If you have employees that are considered essential services and they are without equipment to be able to perform their role in any way during these work from home arrangements, there is an avenue for requesting equipment, and then our IT department can assess what might be feasible for them. So I would certainly draw your attention to that. I think the link for that is in multiple places. One is on our COVID-19, our coronavirus update website that communications and marketing is upkeeping. I'll make sure to connect with you offline to share that as well. That might be a good resource.
Yeah. You know, funny story, Laure, I experienced a major meltdown technology-wise during this process, even without a storm. My entire internet services just went completely offline. I mean, I couldn't keep a Zoom net connection to save my life. And if it weren't for the IT group, who literally, I called the help desk and they walked me right through all the troubleshooting. You know, I think that's the beauty about what we're talking about in terms of engagement. Seeing a community just pull together to support each other, right? Despite what challenges we might all experience out there, whether they're technological, whether they're emotional, whether they are a host of other, you name it, across the board. You know, the community that just pulls together. And I think that's part of our ability to engage with one another in a meaningful way. So, you know, I really do appreciate just the efforts that people have been contributing during this time.
Absolutely. And thank you, Laura, for pointing out additional resources in the library.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are coming up on about 20 minutes, so appreciate you guys very, very much. The takeaway that I have here is that it's about recognizing the community and that we're all part of that same community. And some folks may need a little more help than others at some times, but it's a matter of keeping the focus on where the person's real needs are. I've been saying this to my group in the center, really just about every staff meeting, that we are so very fortunate that we work for an organization that has the means and the infrastructure to allow us to continue to do the work that we do. And, you know, as a department at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga that serves the community, it's our primary focus is to provide training and development for the community. We've not missed a beat. We are still providing that service for our Chattanooga community, and it's owed to the great leadership of folks like you two that work so hard behind the scenes to make all of that possible. So with that said, thank you both so very much for your support and your compassion for your employees. It means a great deal to us. And so on behalf of all the employees represented here, thank you so much. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, John, for the opportunity again. Thank you all.
All right. You
Thank
guys
you.
have a great day. We'll see you later.
Take care. Hey, Laure.